Welcome to Emtron Training Part 54. In this training tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at working with our basic water meth injection programming and tuning with our Emtron ECU. Now this basic water meth injection is going to be assuming we have some type of a water meth injection kit installed onto the vehicle, such as an AEM or an Aquamist. We're going to learn how we can integrate the water meth injection to the Emtron so it understands when we're spraying or not spraying water meth, so we can adjust the fuel, spark, and boost accordingly. And then if we have a failsafe that starts to take place within the controller routine, let's say we go have a low fluid level or there's some kind of an electrical malfunction and the brain controller sends its failsafe output, how we can integrate that to the Emtron to save our engine. There's a lot to cover. Let's jump in so we can check this out. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look and working with our water meth injection kits and integrating them into our Emtron ECU for programming so that we can have the proper fuel and spark time delivered based on the water meth spraying or not spraying. We're going to be taking a look in the next tutorial at how we can build a custom water meth control strategy with the Emtron directly controlling a water meth pump, but we're not going to do that in this tutorial. We're going to keep it simple. This is going to be a common thing that you run into in terms of calibrating and working with an existing water meth kit that's been fitted to the car. We definitely want to take advantage of using the water meth injection because we can make a decent amount more power safely on a forced induction engine spraying water meth, but we need to make sure that we're accounting for how much water meth is spraying and being able to offset the fuel and spark timing according to that water meth, how it's set up and how it's actually bringing that water meth solution into the engine. So we're going to take a look here in this tutorial at both an AEM kit and an Aquamist kit, learning how to bring in the arming status for the water meth, so how we're turning them on, and then being able to integrate a fail-safe strategy in case that water meth injection stops working. We can start to bias what the fuel and spark timing are doing, or even boost, depending on how we're setting everything up. If we have more boost when the water meth is on versus off, this is going to give us a lot of flexibility and allow us to protect our engine in case something goes wrong with the water meth kit. We want to make sure we're doing this properly, so I'm going to go through everything in the tutorials so it makes sense. The first thing we need to discuss is what we're trying to accomplish when we're spraying water meth solution into our engine. We're going to find with the water meth, it's going to have a certain blend or ratio between how much meth and water we're spraying into the engine. 50-50 is the most common. I like to use 75% meth, 25% water if I'm spraying a lot of water meth solution into the engine, because water isn't combustible. And if we start to spray a lot of water, high volumes of water into the engine, we can start to get cylinder misfiring because it can't go in and actually light off that water. So depending on how much water meth you're spraying, the nozzles that you have set up on your water meth kit, you might consider doing a 75-25 blend. A 50-50 is always a safe bet. Now, as we're spraying that water meth solution into the engine, let's talk about the fuel side of things, what has to happen. We'll find that the meth itself is combustible, the water is not, but the meth is combustible, and therefore it's going to richen up the mixture, or actual lambda measurement. It's going to get richer as we start to spray more water meth. We don't want to get richer. We want to hold at the target lambda that we're requesting of our Emtron. So what we need to do is reduce down the fuel spraying through the port fuel injector that's controlled from the Emtron so that we maintain that desired lambda as we would normal operation on just petrol fuel spraying right through the port fuel injector. So we need to offset our fuel to be able to compensate for the increased meth spraying into the engine to run at the same target lambda. Now we don't want to disrupt the fuel and airflow modeling within our Emtron, so we always want to make sure that we're calibrating and tuning first on petrol or ethanol, whatever the fuel you're going to be running on is going to be, validating your airflow and fuel model. Once that's good, then we can turn on the water meth and see how much we need to reduce the fuel by. We're going to be using a compensation table that'll just reduce down what the final calculated pulse was going to be going through the air and fuel modeling. It'll offset that by a certain percentage so that the injection that we're delivering plus the water meth solution as it's spraying into the engine will give us an equal what we'll find for the target lambda that we're programming in the target lambda tables. Now on the spark side of things, we need to go in and dial in a little bit more spark timing. How much more spark timing is really going to depend on how much water meth solution you're spraying and how much effective octane you have in your fuel that you're dealing with spraying through your port injectors. If we're dealing with 91 or 93 octane and we start to spray water meth solution, we can typically run 4 to 6 degrees more spark timing with the water meth spraying versus not spraying. and we'll find that we don't have any knock-up pre-ignition. Now, you need to do some trial and error on your end to figure out what works for your engine, but those are just more standard type of generic spark timing values that I work with getting started with the water meth across most engines. Now, what you'll find here is that the fact that you have a cooling effect from the water and meth spraying and an octane effect from the meth spraying, we can get away with running more cylinder pressure. More cylinder pressure can be accomplished based on spark timing and boost or a combination of both. So if we're on a turbo engine and we're spraying water meth, we can typically run a couple more pounds of boost, also running additional amount of spark timing. And again, the reason why we're able to do this is because we're controlling the combustion temperature very well, because the combustion temperature is staying in check. Pressure and temperature are directly related, so if the temperature is maintaining, we can start to bump up the combustion pressure. More pressure at the right time in the auto cycle will produce more horsepower. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.